Coming up on Mountain News this morning, some tips from officials about how you can stay safe in heavy rain. An anti-Semitic attack in New York changed the atmosphere of Hanukkah celebrations here in Lexington. Plus, in Lexington, one pizza delivery ended with an allegation of racism against a Pizza Hut employee.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is 5:33 on December 30th. I'm Madison Pergram, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. Happy Monday, and if you're just waking up, you're going to need that rain gear. I'd say let's go to Brandon Robinson. Brandon, heavy rain overnight, maybe some flooding in some areas that people need to look out for.
Thankfully, we have not gotten any active reports yet this morning, but we are still combing the internet for that to see social media as well. So if you have any of those, please send them to us. I expect to see some of those possibly, if we see any, in those western counties that got the most rain. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar here, and most of the rain gone, which is some good news. We see another little band out toward Louisville, so we could see just a little bit more rain if that moves our general direction. For the most part, this has been moving to the north and east, so it should be moving away from us outside WYMT this morning. Not a whole lot of fog just yet. We're going to continue to see some active alerts today for sure, all the way through mid-morning. We'll talk more about those in a little bit. Temperatures right now down to 51 in Irvin, 52 Moorhead, 48 in Somerset, but still close to 60 in Prestonsburg, Hazard, and Pikeville this morning, and that trend's going to continue for a little while longer. But you see the colder air coming back off toward Paducah, already in the low 40s this morning, and that cold front moving this way. So iced coffee for some, a little extra for all, just because of the fact it's a Monday. You take a look at the app forecast. You can download that for free in the App Store and Google Play, and you'll see mainly cloudy skies. Some stray chances for rain will linger throughout the morning hours into the early afternoon, and we could see a little bit of touch of sunshine later in the day. Don't get your hopes up too much for that. I hope it happens, but again, mainly cloudy skies throughout today. We'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Madison.
Thank you, Brandon. As Brandon was saying, heavy rains have hit much of eastern and central Kentucky. Megan James spoke with emergency management in Scott County about what they want you to know to stay safe in heavy rain.
When heavy rains hit over a short period of time, flash flooding can quickly become a hazard.
The roads are kind of confusing because, what you think of as a normal, a slight dip or whatever is where the water is going to collect and may be draining off of an adjoining farm or something similar. On a regular day, you may be able to splash through that, but on a heavy rain day like today, that water comes up quick and stays there for a while.
It's a reoccurring issue that some roads in Scott County experience. Just weeks ago, a teenager learned that the hard way.
The usual flooding spots came up like we expected. One of our duties is to assess the roads for flooding. One of our volunteers got down on Browns Mill and found a 17-year-old with water up to the hood of their car.
The teen luckily made it out okay, but Hennigan says that the car did not fare as well. It's a safety hazard that they want to avoid going forward.
You see a sign on the side of the road that says either high water or road closed due to high water. Pay attention to that. If the sign is out there, expect that there's something that would mean that you need to not use that road.
It cannot be said enough to turn around and don't drown.
I'm meteorologist Megan James for WYMT Mountain News.
And if you have any reports of high water, please let us know on our social media pages. And a suspect in a string of stabbings during a Hanukkah celebration in New York on Saturday was arrested by the NYPD shortly after midnight Sunday. Grafton Thomas was driving a Nissan Sentra across into New York City when his car's tags were captured by a license plate reader at about 11:45 p.m. Saturday. Authorities said Thomas was arrested without incident soon after and transported upstate. Thomas was led into the courtroom in handcuffs, and he kept his eyes on the floor and said nothing audible during the proceeding, speaking only to his attorney. Thomas entered a not guilty plea, and his next court appearance is Friday. And an anti-Semitic attack in New York changed the atmosphere of Hanukkah celebrations in Lexington. 5 people were stabbed after being attacked inside a rabbi's home. Rabbi Shmuel with the Shabbat of the Bluegrass said it's been a hard week for the Jewish community, but he says they will not let fear drive them backwards, instead saying it fuels the fire, a fire that last night lit the 8th candle of the menorah lighting at the summit.
You can't beat back hate with a broom or a stick. You have to beat it back with light. And we will continue to survive. We'll continue to make light. We'll continue to be proud and loud and Jewish.
It took several attempts to light the menorah because of the rain, but the entire group stood firm, singing holiday songs until every wick was burning bright. And that was not the only attack on the service of faith this weekend. 2 people are dead and another person is critically injured after a shooting at a church in the city of White Settlement in northern Texas. The shooting comes more than 2 years after a gunman opened fire at a church in Sutherland Springs, about 300 miles away from White Settlement, killing at least 26 people. Texas Governor Greg Abbott offered his condolences in the wake of the shooting, and the church's live stream caught the moment an armed gunman opened fire. While the video was turned off, the gunshots could be heard from the live stream. White Settlement Police Chief J.P. Bevering praised the 2 heroic churchgoers who returned fire and killed the suspect. He said there is no ongoing threat to the incident. And Governor Andy Beshear released a statement last night on those 2 attacks. He said, quote, "The attacks this weekend in New York and Texas are sickening. We are all human beings who deserve dignity and respect and to be able to practice our religion without fear of or violence," end quote. And a nationally recognized pizza chain is responding after a text exchange went viral. A Lexington woman posted screenshots of a hostile text conversation with her delivery driver online. Shelby Lofton has more on what was said and what was read.
A pizza delivery ending with an allegation of racism. The post in question comes from a woman who claims she ordered food from Pizza Hut in Lexington. The customer posted screenshots of a series of texts she says came from her delivery driver, saying she feels, quote, disgusted by the conversation. In the Facebook post, the woman says she didn't know she left a 9-cent tip on her pizza delivery order. She says the driver first called her and then began texting her roommate, allegedly refusing to deliver the food. We had to blur parts of this conversation because of profanity and racial slurs. One text message reads, quote, "You're the type that should be hung." Another, "Come here and kiss my feet." Another message calls the customers the N-word. People commenting on the post, which has been shared more than 1,600 times, are calling on the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department to investigate because in some of the texts, the Pizza Hut employee threatens to spit in the food. A Pizza Hut spokesperson responded to the exchange, saying they don't believe the food was tampered with, but confirmed the driver was fired for using offensive language and threats. Shelby Lofton, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the customer has not spoken publicly to any statewide media about the incident. And a Shelby County family is still recovering after losing their home and pets to a fire. Thankfully, they have a supportive community, and Cynthia and Todd Hadid lost their home 1 week ago. They lived in the same home 20 years before the fire leveled it. But on Sunday, the community held a fun run in Cherokee Park to gather donations to help them in their time of need. Todd says he has raised money for others before, but this is something different.
Like I said, everything, it's even hard to explain, you know, because you never think that you're going to be the person on the other side of that. So it's kind of surreal.
When reporters with our sister station Wave 3 News First talked with the family, they say they were holding out hope to see their pets again. Now Cynthia says she will get to see the pets in heaven again one day. And some encouraging news this morning about state lawmaker John Bam Carney. Former Speaker of the House Jeff Hoover shared on Twitter that Carney is now stable. The doctors say his vitals are looking good, but Carney is not out of the woods just yet. The House Majority Floor Leader was in the ICU last week with a severe case of pancreatitis. And coming up, Spotify says the company is staying out of politics in 2020 by refusing to play any political ads on its platform.
Take it slow and easy this morning on the roads as some lingering showers are still around. I'll track out your Monday hour by hour in about 3 minutes.